This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
This is your Can I Blame It on the Blarney Stone leader fan radio network.
Okay.
And KFAN. That's KFAN.com. 2 minutes, 2 seconds past the hour of 3 o'clock. Central Daylight Saving Time. Welcome back. It is the Monday edition of the Bumper to Bumper program on a pretty classically summery Monday afternoon here in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. I am the occasional host of the program. My name's Dan Barreiro. I before E except in Barreiro. Guardsy is the producer of the show, filled in a number of days as well in this chair, which I much appreciate. And I appreciate the participation of each and every one of you via the Bradshaw and Bryan KFAN text line, which continues to be 64686. Toss-up question for the text line. What do you believe is the biggest, juiciest sports story and non-sports story that I missed while I was traveling around jolly old, no, that would be England, Ireland? Give me the top sports story I missed while I was gone, the top A-section non-toy department story while I was gone. Bradshaw and Bryan KFAN text line 64686. We like playing this game. It's becoming easier and easier with the longer vacations that I'm taking. And who knows, the next one, maybe it'll be a month long. Who's to say? Good to see you. I hope all is well.
Same here. Yeah. Welcome back.
It's good to be back. If you detect a rasp in my voice, I texted you earlier today. I did come back with a cold. The timing was perfect. Felt fine the entire trip over to Ireland. More on that in a minute. And then Saturday, you get that scratchy throat. You feel like something's a little off.
Sure.
And now
you're a mess.
Dogs and cats living together. But of course, the corner office. Well, no, not really the corner office. The Abbott office. Boy, it would have been really great for you to, take 10 days off. By the way, it's technically 9 because the 4th of July, nobody was working, I don't think. In fact, I don't think anybody even worked on the 3rd is what I was told.
Most people did.
Oh, they did?
We did not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then come back and immediately take a sick day, although I got a bunch of sick days available to me.
We've had
so
that happen
had
before.
That pressure.
We've had some not us, but lengthy absences.
Oh, is that true?
And then they come back and take a vacation or take a sick day.
Right.
Not always great.
Yeah, not great. And I said, no, I'm going to, because I'm a team player and I'm going to gut it out and I'm a tough guy. And so I am here. But yeah, you can sense it a little bit in my voice. And the question is whether I can blame it on the Blarney Stone. Are you familiar with the Blarney Stone?
I feel like I am, but refresh my memory.
Dateline Cork. I believe that's in Cork, Ireland. We visited so many cities in Ireland, I can't remember all of them, but I think Cork was one of them. And I think that's where Blarney Castle is. And if you visit Blarney Castle, it's a wonderful spot. It's, touristy to the extent that to visit inside the castle, you're going to wait. On most days, you're going to probably have a good hour to an hour and a half wait. And I think you have to get tickets in advance. It's all that kind of thing. But a beautiful spot. History.
Looks nice.
It's the old deal of you go to Europe. I'm not the first to say it. And among the stops that you make is a bar called Sean's Bar. Are you familiar with Sean's Bar?
I'm not.
Sean's Bar, I want to be as accurate as possible here, having just visited Sean's Bar.
They have coolers at Sean's Bar?
They got whiskey.
Oh, okay.
They got a lot of whiskey at Sean's Bar. And
maybe that was it.
That might have been part of the problem. Sean's Bar is listed or will be in the 2027 Guinness Book of World Records as the oldest bar in the world. Allegedly established in AD 900. And you think of that and you go, this is why people like coming to Europe, because it feels like stuff's happened in, a little further back than the last 22 minutes, right? Your bar goes all the way back to 900.
Pretty good.
That's a pretty good run. Now, they've had a number of owners, but nevertheless, now it's Sean, and we met Sean, actually. It's called Sean's Bar now. But I digress. I don't even know how I got to the Sean's Bar part, but what I do know is that if you tour the castle, you're under heavy pressure to, once you climb to the top of it, lots of stairs and tricky stairs. Stairs where if you're not paying attention, you're going down. I did a good job with that part of it. But then at the top, your choice is, the line is now waiting to do what has become traditional and important to many people who visit Blarney Castle. It's to kiss the Blarney Stone.
Oh.
What I didn't know was you lay down on your back, then you slide your body, your head towards the place that you're going to kiss the rock. And it's slippery, and it's not easy because you got to be sort of, in a sense, upside down. So they have a helper who will hold your arms to make sure you do not slide down this grill area.
Oh my gosh.
I said, okay, fine. I'll go for it. Now, what I hadn't really thought of was, let me think about this here. I'm one of those guys who no longer will dig my hand into the bowl of peanuts at a bar.
Right.
Once I was told, do you realize how many people have touched that?
Right. I've seen you with food in the break room around here.
It never occurred to me for years, but then once I couldn't not know it. So then it's, well, how? I mean, we got dozens and dozens and dozens of people kissing virtually the same spot. Now, there's a wide expanse, but you don't know where the last guy put his tongue, right? You don't know where on the stone, so you don't even know what to avoid. And I'm thinking, well, but I got to do it. If I don't do it, I'm the party pooper, right? So I did it. And, I even have, all three of us have pictures that document the moment.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. I think it was $15 a photo, but what are you going to do? It's the way of the world. And
you could give that to the doctor. Do you think this is what happened?
Yes. So at that point, I am in the back of my mind going, well, God, how clean can it be? What are the odds? Do germs stay on a rock? Or is there something in the definition, the makeup of a rock, that makes it unlikely that the germs will fester if there's some there? So I don't know what the person who just kissed it before me, I don't know where he's been, or she's been.
Are you in line in front of them?
Any more than they know where I've been.
Right.
So, but as days went on and I felt fine, I said, okay, well, I guess I dodged a bullet. Then I get back here, and Saturday I start feeling a little clammy, a little bit of the cold coming on to where I do today, and I'm going, can I blame it on, is it possible I got infected smooching the Blarney Stone? And somebody else said, the mistake you made is you're not really supposed to kiss it. The bit is, you kind of pretend you do. You just kind of put your face close to it, and then you could say, you're not supposed to be stupid enough to actually kiss it.
Interesting.
I was trying to follow directions, thinking that the good luck that's supposed to be associated with kissing the Blarney Stone meant you got to kiss the Blarney Stone, right? You got to smooch it. You can't half-ass smooch it. So that's my question to the audience today. Is it possible that's where the start of this whole process of getting whatever crud I now have began upon that occasion. Now, again, I'm on planes. We're around millions of people. Downtown Dublin, Hoppin Place. You're around a lot of people when you're traveling, obviously. But I'm just wondering how many people out there have much experience with the Blarney Stone and how they felt about the smooching at that point, if they indeed followed through.
Yeah, I'd want to know the ratio of people that also kissed the stone and then came back and were sick somehow. I think that's an important metric that we need to find to the Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line 64686. I think we got to start there.
Yes, for sure.
And see what happens. Is it like, what do they call that? Not the gestation period, but it was like when during the pandemic. There's another
term for it, yeah.
That I'm sure someone can fill us in on.
Yeah.
You know, if you were exposed to it, you needed to wait 2 weeks to know if you were in the clear or not, allegedly. That was the whole bit.
True.
So maybe there's a Blarney Stone period that you have to wait out to know if you're sick or not.
Well, already, to your point, a lot of texts have come in on that point. So I will try to stay somewhat on schedule on my first day back. I'll remind you, we have 2 outstanding guests today. It's Monday, so that's a Johnny Athletic Day. You said he was working on some Wolves stuff. Does that mean there's some big steam coming? Is there some?
No, I'm guessing he's got. No, I don't know. I don't want to speak for him, but the way it sounded to me was he was waiting for a couple of interviews, probably summer league related or maybe an oral history related.
Necessarily that there's another big move coming.
Not like waiting for Bradley Beal to come after his contract is bought out by the Phoenix Suns.
Okay, fair enough. He's going to be with us at 4:02. And our old friend Gerald Posner is going to chat with us at 5:30, fresh off. I think he's supposed to be on News Nation right before us, actually. So he's going to be on with us at 5:30, and we got about 1 million subjects to discuss with him, including these latest JFK revelations, which he doesn't quite buy as being revelations the way they're being billed. A couple of other stories he's been working on as well. We always have fun with Gerald Posner. That is scheduled for 5:30.
Fan and BigDeck.com. I want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks. It is our national cash contest, and it's back. The first keyword of the week for Bumper to Bumper is pay. Go to KFAN.com and enter.
The last thing anyone wants is to leave behind confusion, stress, or worse, family conflict. That's why estate planning isn't just for the wealthy. It's for families like mine, and probably like yours. With Trust and Will, I created my estate plan in minutes, from naming guardians for my kids to putting our house in a trust to avoid probate. Fast, affordable, and way easier than I thought. Every plan is designed by estate planning attorneys and customized for your state. Plans start at just $199 and include essentials like healthcare directives and power of attorney. With Trust and Will's bank-level security and built-in privacy protections, your personal information and your wishes stay safe. Whether you're newly married, raising kids, caring for aging parents, or just want peace of mind, Trust and Will makes it easy to protect what matters most. Go to trustandwill.com, use code RADIO at checkout, and save 20% on your personalized plan. Because there's no better time to protect the people you love. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
The keyword pay.
Steve Andover writes, Dan, welcome back. If you cannot make it through the whole show, it'd really be great to hear your interview with Sarah Spain for the 3rd time in 5 days. Wow.
Erroneous, first of all.
Well, it's a good line. I figured he might even know it's erroneous, but decent line. Would only be the 2nd time?
Well, I don't know what they did for sermons.
That's what I was going to say.
Was there a best of for sermons?
I don't know what he did. I don't know if anybody hosted sermons or not. Maybe that's the answer.
Because I know we used it one day.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense.
Yeah.
To have used it one day. I visited Blarney Castle but didn't kiss the stone. My ex-mother-in-law accused me of kissing it.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Wow. Ex-mother-in-law.
You're supposed to kiss the Blarney Stone, not French it. I hate to tell you this, Dan, but the word on the street is that the locals like to urinate on the Blarney Stone after a night at the pubs. Well,
what do you mean?
A couple other texters said, well, that's what workers do at night. I have too much respect for those who work the castle. But I guess anything's possible, you'd like to say? You most likely got sick from travel, not from kissing. Going somewhere else just has different variants of germs, and since you are a germaphobe, you are rarely exposed to anything around here. So you're even more vulnerable because you barely have any immunity to most bacteria or viruses nowadays. I do not even come close to being qualified as a germaphobe in that sense. If you look up the word, germaphobe is someone who is far more anal about this than I am. Part of it is the bit, I hope, but there's some literalists or Twitterlists out there, as I used to call them, who might not always be able to understand that. It's possible, but the germs don't last long on a rock surface. I did want that answer. How long it lasts on a rock surface.
That's
is it
good.
less likely to be an issue than, let's say, on this counter table in front where we sit.
Right, which is clearly not granite.
Went to the Stone back in 2019, came back with herpes. Now, I think that might be an exaggeration.
I don't rule anything out.
But it's a good line.
That was pre-pandemic. Anything went back then.
That's true. There's a small sign that says no tongue.
Is that true?
I'm tall. I don't remember it. I'm tall and stretched as far down in the Blarney Stone as possible and planted my smooch. No ill effects. I've been there, did not kiss it, was told by a local that employees relieved themselves in the Blarney Stone after hours. So there's a lot of people who throw that in there as well. The Blarney Stone was a urine deflector. It's part of a toilet. Wow. Man.
So historic urine's on there too, like going all the way back to when it was built? Not just modern day?
Apparently, yeah. What else did I have here? There were a couple
glad
more.
Kessler's not in today. Are you going to bring this up with Kessler?
I probably shouldn't. Has he been to Ireland? Has he been to...
I don't know. I'm going to guess no, because he's doing all his traveling now. You know, he's going to Italy in like 2 months.
That's true.
So he's getting all his traveling in now. I don't think he did a bunch before this.
While in Ireland, did you go by Dan O'Barriers? That's from Moy Amsterdam guy. That's his comedy.
Do you change your name?
It's a possibility. It's an idea. Like I said, Sean's Bar. It's rustic. Now, this isn't the original bar. I think people need to understand that. In other words, it didn't look quite the same back in 900 when it was founded. The amazing thing to me, what I learned from actually we had a driver the last 4 days who was invaluable. What he knew and how he helped us, and where to go, where not to go, and just his wealth of knowledge about the country was transformational for me. And really for all three of us, we had a wonderful trip. And so where was I? Was it about the Blarney Stone or was it about something else?
Sean's Bar.
Sean's Bar. That the bar, this is one of the few occasions where the bar appeared, the bar was built before any houses around it.
You got to get your priorities.
But that's pretty rare. Usually, the development comes first and says, maybe I should put a bar up there. There's people. This guy basically said, we're right near the water here. People are coming by. We'll give them an option. And then the houses built up after the bar. The bar came first.
The original Ray Kinsella.
In Wisconsin, I'm sure.
Right.
That's not going to shock anybody there, but I thought that was kind of interesting.
So he's the original, if you build it, they will come Ray Kinsella guy. That's what it sounds like.
Very much so. There's no question about that. Have you ever been to Ireland?
No, I don't. I've never left the continent.
That's right. You did say that before.
I'm going to be like Kessler, I guess, and do it all when I'm 80.
It wasn't like necessarily. I mean, the main reason we did it was, Giovanni was participating in the Irish Dance Worlds. That's another story for another segment. In that the event took place at the Church of Scientology.
Okay.
Now, there's no relationship between the Irish dance group and the church other than they rent out their space.
They have room for it.
They have a great big room for it, a huge auditorium. It was actually very well done. During breaks, when you came out into the lobby area, though, you did have a 50-50 chance that Tom Cruise was going to try to, or Travolta was going to try to convert you. Say, they even had, occasionally there was a guy saying, stress test for free. We got a stress test for you between, it was like 2 and 3 o'clock one day, where you, I guess, answer a bunch of questions, which I didn't take because I know I'm stressed.
Yeah.
I don't need a test to say I'm stressed.
You just kissed the Blarney Stone.
That's true. And I become quite stressed. L. Ron Hubbard, huge quotes from him. He's the founder of the Church of Scientology. He's Dianetics guy. You familiar with Dianetics?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, that's Church of Scientology. It's all of a piece.
Yep.
In any case, I was wowed by the country. It was, and again, I'm in a position of being very fortunate that we could hire a driver. And I'm aware not everybody can do that because it was not cheap, but I'm grateful that we could do it because, again, to have a local who was invested, who was interested in doing more than just kind of mailing it in, and just giving you all kinds of history, background about this castle or this church or this city or this town or Killarney or whatever we ended up going to, that's a big help. And I mean, he had the voice.
Oh yeah, got to have the accent.
The whole bit. It was also authentic. You know what I'm saying?
Did he have a good hat on? Did he wear a good hat?
No, he did not.
No hat.
I don't think he had a hat.
Oh, that disappoints me.
I'm sorry.
So are you ready to go back for Viking Steelers in Dublin? Well,
I tell you what, as a scout, as a scouting mission, I thought it to that extent went like very, very well. There's no question about that.
Will A-Rod kiss the Blarney Stone, do you think? He'd have some thoughts on it, right?
Do you think he would?
Probably.
Yeah. This might shock you, but his first name was Pat.
I like it.
Last name Curran.
Brilliant.
He was outstanding.
So I'm surprised he didn't have one of those hats.
Yeah, he was very, very good. He had so many good anecdotes. And, the roads, once you get out of town, they're little. They're narrow. There's no such thing as two-lane. It's going two directions. You're sharing like 1.5 lanes, and you just have to negotiate it. And what I'm very impressed by is obviously this is a big tourism period of the year for Ireland. It's a huge part of their income, and at several levels. So, in fact, many times on these very narrow roads, there are massive tour buses.
Right.
In fact, Pat sometimes has bigger groups, and he drives one of these, honestly. And then, of course, they do the other side of the road thing, which, if you're not accustomed to, which I'm still not,
would really mess me up.
Would mess me up. There were 2 or 3 times where I thought we were about to die because the instant I looked to my right and I said, "Wait a minute, we're in the wrong lane." And of course, we weren't in the wrong lane, but it's hard to get past it. Now, some people are better at that than others. I don't think I would have been too tense the whole time about screwing up.
Right. Yes.
In this case, you got to bear to your left.
Feels weird.
The other. There's a lot of good tidbits from Ireland that we're going to get to, but in fact, I'm going to tweet a photo about this maybe even during the break. Do you remember the thing called a phone booth?
Oh yeah, I just saw one. Where did I just see one?
Do you know what they've become pretty obsolete, right?
Yes.
For all the obvious reasons.
Yes.
Do you know what they have done with many of their phone booths?
I don't think I do.
Wait till I tell you. There's a tease for you. We'll come back, get to that. I want to get into my answers to my question earlier. What's the biggest sports story I missed while I was gone during the Abyss? And the biggest A-section story as well. And then Johnny Athletic will join at 4:02. Gerald Pop.
The last thing anyone wants is to leave behind confusion, stress, or worse, family conflict. That's why estate planning isn't just for the wealthy. It's for families like mine, and probably like yours. With Trust and Will, I created my estate plan in minutes, from naming guardians for my kids to putting our house in a trust to avoid probate. Fast, affordable, and way easier than I thought. Every plan is designed by estate planning attorneys and customized for your state. Plans start at just $199 and include essentials like healthcare directives and power of attorney. With Trust and Will's bank-level security and built-in privacy protections, your personal information and your wishes stay safe. Whether you're newly married, raising kids, caring for aging parents, or just want peace of mind, Trust and Will makes it easy to protect what matters most. Go to trustandwill.com, use code RADIO at checkout, and save 20% on your personalized plan. Because there's no better time to protect the people you love. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
Nerd 5.
We've got your shot to win tickets to Summer of Loud 2025. It's Friday, July 11th in the business. That's this Friday. Somerset Amphitheater. You can see performances from Beartooth, I Prevail, Parkway Drive, and more. Head over to the contest page to see how you can win. KFAN.com, keyword contests.
Top sports story is the continued WNBA shooting themselves in the foot. A couple thoughts on that in a minute. Top sports story, lack of improvement for the Minnesota Wild. So we got We brought back, is it Nico Sturm?
Yeah,
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yep.
He's back. And Tarasenko?
We brought in Tarasenko, Vladi.
Who's 50, but...
He used to score 50 goals.
5 years ago, scored 50 goals. Yeah. So we'll see if that's...
My sources say the Pohlads approved of that move. They thought that was a great move.
Trump's cheer fest at the Iowa State Fairgrounds after the Big Beautiful Bill passes. He is giddy. That's being offered as the biggest non-toy department story. You didn't miss anything over the past 2 weeks. It's the sports abyss, right? Unless not seeing the Twins play mediocre constitutes missing something.
I thought you missed a lot.
The American League Central, dead. My God, we're in second place. Is it 4 games under 500? What's happened to this big, beautiful division? It's now down to one team, basically, right?
Yeah.
I'll give you a chance to weigh in on the biggest stories you thought that I missed in a minute. RFK actually prescribes kissing the Blarney Stone to prevent COVID. To prevent COVID. Sorry, I couldn't. Are you saying that you raw dogged the Blarney Stone? Yeah, I guess in a sense that would be what it is. I know you guys are Big Four centric, but I had the good fortune to attend Wimbledon in 2012.
Oh, lucky.
Certainly one of the greatest annual sporting events. I'd say the Wild first week this year was the biggest event that you missed. To that point, I'll say to you and to the audience, I had access to different channels there, obviously, the little time that we were watching TV. But when I had one of the BBC channels on in the room during some of those early Wimbledon matches, I don't know what to tell you.
It's good, right?
I enjoyed it so thoroughly, and I think I'm ESPN'd out. I really do. I think I'm now comparing everything to the failure that ESPN has become covering, at the very least, the NBA playoffs. It just seemed richer. It seemed, and I don't have problems with arguments or debates breaking out, but it seemed cleaner. It seemed better. It just seemed so. Now, again, maybe some of it is if I grew up with that, maybe I'd get tired of that approach, and I'd say, hey, I wouldn't mind a little more edge to it. But I found it fascinating to watch matches that otherwise I don't even think I knew who was participating in some cases, but I still paid attention to it because I just liked the way it was broadcast. I liked during breaks what the panel discussed, etc. It's remarkable to me. It just seemed
they've got a good rep.
More sophisticated.
Yes. Well, it's the accents too. You probably lost yourself
right.
in the accent.
That could be part of it.
Seems more erudite.
That could be part of it. Dan, while you were out, I watched the HBO documentary Surviving Ohio State. Have you seen it? Insane. That's from 702 Guy. I have passed through it and didn't want to start it if I couldn't finish it, but I hear it is jaw-dropping. Have you watched it or heard about it?
You know, there's more info or nobody cares. I was trying to get your guy John Wertheim on while you were gone.
Yeah.
Because he's a tennis guy, first of all.
Right.
Indiana guy, too. He's one of the executive producers of it. So I've watched a little bit of it, but then I have not yet finished it, but it is horrifying, as you would imagine.
Goes back a long time, right? Yeah.
Yes, a long time.
Dan, here's the Minnesota sports summary while you were away. 1, Wild free agency falls flat. After years of being told to be patient, we take page from Twins and recycle old names. By the way, let's remember what came back to haunt the Wild in that regard is the comment from the owner. Remember the comment from the owner? It's going to be like Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't.
Christmas in July.
Christmas in July. And it obviously was not. I know now a lot of people are trying to paper over it and say, well, there's reasons for this, and Guerin's just biding his time.
All true, but
exactly. If you put that in people's heads as being such a key departure point, then you can't be surprised there's not going to be some disappointment. 2, Lynx take page from the Wolves playbook and lay an egg in the Commissioner's Cup game
without Caitlin Clark.
And lose to a Fever team without Clark.
Yeah, without Caitlin.
Twins in free fall. That's 3. Pitching struggles while Buxton finds his bat. And we wait to see if Royce Lewis can run the bases. 4, Wolves miss out on draft and Durant. Welcome back to the Minnesota status quo. So what's at the top of your list?
Well, you got to help me because I don't remember. I can't remember how long you've actually been out.
Okay.
So The Wolves traded Karl Anthony Towns for Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo.
Are you serious?
And a first-round pick that actually they've already picked a guy.
Oh.
It's a guy from France. Baby Baguette is my favorite nickname for him. Copyright Kyle Tighe. Were you here for that?
I don't think so.
Okay, you're going to want to get in on it. It was a big move.
So Towns isn't here anymore.
Cat
Wait a
doesn't
minute.
play here.
I thought I read during I was gone a quote from somebody saying Towns needs to lose 15 pounds.
That was Kendrick Perkins.
He meant as a member of the Knicks, not as a member of the Wolves.
Right. And actually, he was just seen having like brunch with Rudy Gobert. They're not teammates anymore. That was in France. Kirk Cousins has signed with the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay.
A 4-year, $180 million.
Is he the starter?
He's not the starter anymore. He actually got hurt.
Wow.
And Michael Penix, the guy they drafted 8th overall, which you also missed.
I did miss that.
He's going to be the starter. We don't know what Cousins is going to do. And this one, I think you're going to have some thoughts on.
Yeah.
Twins owner Joe Polad mentioned that it's time, because of some business reasons, to right-size the payroll. Oh. Right-size the payroll, which is interesting because they're actually, I guess, trying to sell the team now.
They are?
Yes, and they're not having great success.
Based on the bleacher shots, the outfield seat shots I saw over the weekend.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody showing up at Target Field.
Well, they're going to get the Cubs stimulus package this week.
Okay, that's helpful.
Your Cubby fans are coming in.
They're in first place.
They're like 20 games over 500.
They have, and I'm going to be honest with Ron Coomer about this. This is how far removed I am from my Cubdom, despite growing up rooting for that team. They have 3 All-Stars. I'd never heard of any of them.
Yeah.
I never heard of any of them. It's unbelievable. I have no emotional connection. I think it's the old, we finally got the series. We won it.
You had the moment.
And now we don't have to worry about it anymore because I'm not there anymore. It's kind of weird. But
he's joining you Wednesday.
Excellent.
At 4:45.
I'm looking forward to that for sure. Did you cover... I have to admit, the only time I was tempted to call in to rant, to interrupt Russo's hockey, was when I saw the story. Tell me if this was accurate. Rebecca Lobo, during the broadcast of a WNBA game, felt obligated to apologize when, in some kind of a debate, I don't even know what the debate was over, if it was a player approach or style, whatever the case may be, she said something to the effect of, the difference of opinion is what makes America great. And that she actually felt compelled, because of the reaction of her partner and a number of other people, to apologize for using that term. Is that accurate?
That's yes, that's true. We didn't talk about it, but that's true.
I tell you, man, how many times have we, and we're going to get into it later, there's a lot more on Caitlin Clark developments, because now pieces of the Christine Brennan book are surfacing. Larger sections of the book are surfacing. And what I've read from the book thus far, and this particular quote-unquote incident, underscores and confirms is this league does not want to be treated like a real league, like a big league, adult league. They don't. They don't want to. I don't know how to break it to whoever was offended on the broadcast, but that expression, that's what makes America great, predates anything to do with Donald J. Trump. And in fact, it's not even the same expression. So the fact that on a broadcast of a game, it was taken to that degree where she felt compelled to have to apologize for it, they have no chance. They have, as a league, they continue to prove to me that they have no chance. In fact, let me see if, we're on the subject. Here's the quote that I think we may have even quoted this before, because I know we've quoted the writer Annie Constable, Chicago Sun-Times WNBA reporter.
Okay.
This goes back to the discussion about, do you remember the WNBA Players Union statement ripping Brennan, basically saying her credentials should be revoked?
When she was trying to ask about
the poking in the eye
thing.
Exactly. This crystallizes all of it. These women are athletes, the ultimate competitors, and they deserve the same coverage, including critical coverage that we give to all sports. That's the mark of true equality. Sometimes when we have these conversations about coverage of the WNBA, you have to ask something. Are we treating it as a sport or as a charity? Ding, ding, ding. That's it. Too many people in this league clearly want all of the financial advances that they deserve as a sport. But when it comes to media, they still want to be treated like it's some kind of a charity. And until people in leadership positions in that league, whether it's the commissioner, famous players who are now, are no longer playing, maybe even existing players, lay that out honestly without fear of what kind of blowback they're ultimately going to get, inevitably going to get, this league will not fully be invested in what's supposed to come with taking the next step and quote-unquote crossing over. I grew up with that's what makes America great. Difference of opinion. It's trite. It's a cliche. The idea that you say it as if there's something obscene about it, gotta grow up, man. If you don't want to cross over, you don't. If you want to stay in your little niche, you want to continue to fly commercial, you want to be in little arenas, you want pay that means you have to play in Europe or Russia or other places to add to your income, then complain away about that nonsense. Complain away about questions that Christine Brennan asked and to a large extent allowed the player involved to set the record straight and for others to follow up with other questions from Clark, who at the time, if you recall, said there was nothing intentional about the poke.
It was pretty easy.
It was pretty easy at the time. But that's what makes America great, is not the same. Stop with this nonsense that means the same thing as we're going to make America great again. Anybody with half a brain knows the distinction and knows that there is no way in hell that Rebecca Lobo intended to make any kind of a Trump-esque or Trumpian reference there. She grew up with that cliche. Difference of opinion. Denny Green used to say it.
Exactly right. That's what I was thinking.
That's what makes America great. But it's instructive because it tells you still where the mindset is of too many people in the league that, I'm sorry, does not want to be taken as seriously as they think they do. You can't have that both ways, in my opinion. So that was the one where I go, what? Because did you hear the pregnant pause was like she had just said, I think I'm kind of pro KKK. Is that okay to say? And then there was this silence.
Right.
Where she felt like, Rebecca Lobo felt like, I have to fill the silence, and I'm going to have to really do a mea culpa here. Like she crossed some kind of uncrossable line. What are we talking about here?
Well, here's the other thing. What if she did say? What if she did intend it?
That's a great point.
Who cares? Why do we need to crumble for that as well?
We don't. You're 100% right.
She doesn't need to apologize for that, even if she meant it that way.
Correct.
Because that's what makes America great. That's all part of it.
Remarkable to me.
Yeah.
That was the one where I go, that was the one time I was ready to say, let's get back on the air. But then I said probably better off because I didn't want to.
You were about to kiss the Blarney Stone.
Yeah, well, and Russo was in too deep. Talking to, I'm assuming he had Guerin on like twice.
I know he had him on at least once.
Did he have the owner on?
I don't think he had Leopold, but I don't know. I think Russo only filled in 2 days.
It was only 2? Oh.
Yeah, because he filled in one the first week and then one the second. I think Sinekin filled in on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Did you see also, speaking of, sort of catching up, did you see the new reason that the Wolves Wolves fans should be relieved that the team was unable to get Kevin Durant to come here?
I don't know if I did.
The statistical nugget that caught my eye?
I didn't see the stat.
By the way, did I pay off the tees?
No.
Remind me what the tease was, and I got to pay it off here.
I got to remember what it was, too.
Yeah. Okay, this fascinates me. So there's that ongoing discussion about players who are so concerned about their own stats, personal shooting stats.
Oh, I did see this.
That they won't take
yes,
that last minute, heave shot from past half court
because
they
Hail Mary
make
heave.
it. Yeah, they don't want it to be an 0 for 1.
Right.
And,
which I can't believe, by the way. This is bad.
Well, this is a great stat. For example, on the one end, Joker took 22 of those shots this past season alone.
He loves that shot.
He has no problem with it because what's he about? Winning. He doesn't care.
The job is done. We can go home now.
Kevin Durant has not taken a single heave in this situation since 2018.
That's crazy.
7 years. Now, you're not going to tell me he didn't have the ball in his hands more than once or twice.
He probably did.
Probably did. In all seriousness, that is a rather enlightening statistic. Again, I wanted Durant here if he wanted to come. I backed off as soon as I was told he doesn't want to come here, and I said, you can't mess with it. But nevertheless, I'm going, wow, that is rather enlightening, kind of revealing.
Now, Joker makes it like 50% of the time, it feels like.
Oh, that's true.
I feel like he's made one against us. I know Jamal Murray made one against us in the playoff game. I was there for it. Phone booth was the tease.
That's it. They're coming in now. So, Pat, our driver, I don't know where we were at this point. Might have been Cork, might have been Killarney. Where were we the last day? So many cities, I didn't know what city
You didn't know what city you were in.
I had no idea what city I was in.
And you didn't need me to call you a cab because you had one.
Had one, exactly it. And we're in a town where there's a phone booth on the left-hand side of the road. In other words, the side we were on. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because you have to drive on the left.
The correct side.
The correct side, shall we say. Trying to find a photo now. And he said, you see the phone booth? I said, yeah. He said, do you see what we're using that phone booth for now? And there was a sign, because at first I thought, well, maybe they're one thing I learned about Ireland, they don't like to tear anything down. If it's just like a ghost of a castle left, they still want to keep the ghost of a castle up. They do not want to tear anything down. That's that's almost religious there. We just don't tear down the past, even if, to that extent, no one's inhabiting that particular location. It's just part of who we are, and we're not going to mess with it. Well, in this case, I look over to the left. In fact, here's the photo. And there's a big sign at the top of it. And it reads, defibrillator.
Oh, yeah.
They have converted many of their phone, instead of taking them out, because no one needs a phone booth anymore, or needs a phone, because we all have cell phones, they said, well, wait a minute. How about we make good use of it? So apparently there's like a box on the door, on the side of the structure. You hit a couple of buttons. It's almost like a 911 situation. You get a 911 person on the phone. You explain you're trying to get to the defibrillator because there's someone in distress. They unlock the door for you, and they talk you through using the defibrillator.
It's a great idea for it. That's good functionality for something that you wouldn't use ordinarily at all. It's very
genius.
Smart.
What do? We just get rid of them all.
They're in people's yards now, or garages, or we sell them at auction.
I thought it was brilliant. I really did. I thought it was an outstanding touch. So, in terms of toy department, you had the snarky observation. Give me the more literal one for the last couple of weeks.
That we got resolution on all the Wolves stuff. Mm-hmm. That Julius Randle's here, Naz Reid is here.
We're going to talk to Johnny about this in minutes.
Yep.
So, have we forgotten the way it finished with Randle? Is it more we figure like, well, it didn't finish great, but another year of figuring it out?
Yeah.
Better than breaking up the whole band. If we can't make a big move, let's try to reinvest in what we have and try to make it a little bit better that way.
And keep the asset of a decent contract for Randall. You're right. He's still just around $30 million or so for the next few years. I think his last year, the next player option's like 35. That's still a contract you can throw in a trade when Giannis demands one.
We're under the second apron, I think.
Yes,
right? Yeah.
Which was important. And then obviously Nas getting his deal as well. 5 years, basically 25, it seems like. So it kind of resolved the way I thought it would probably resolve, right? The last couple of weeks, there was really going to be no way to keep all three of them.
No.
For financial reasons, but I also think opportunity reasons. I think it's time to see some of the younger guys play.
You have to open that door.
Yeah.
And you have to, I think, and I'll see if what Johnny thinks of this. The leap of faith is barring a significant improvement from your point guard of the future. I'm not sure I know how you make a bigger jump. It doesn't mean it can't happen, but it almost means that's what they're doubling down on, that we're going to get more out of him more quickly than maybe even we thought, in some large measure because of necessity, right? Because at least so far, we're not adding another point guard. I want to talk to him also about the Conley situation. Is it automatic that he comes off the bench, which a lot of people have assumed, but I don't know if that's how the Wolves feel about it, right?
Yeah, I don't know if they assume that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like right now they're ready to go with Conley, Dilly, and then DiVincenzo probably running some point, and then Anthony Edwards.
So
having the ball in his hands.
The Nikhil role will be taken by Shannon?
Yeah, I think it'll be by committee. I mean, like Shannon will get some, Clark will get some, DiVincenzo will get probably more. Maybe Dillingham has a part in that as well.
I'll tell you, team, I want to talk to Johnny about this too. If all these trade rumors, I don't think they're official yet, come through, I think Denver.
Big time.
Denver has put itself back.
They seem to be
dangerous position for your Minnesota Timberwolves.
If those depth guys, and if those depth guys are going to be what they are or what they have been, very possibly.
Correct. All right, let's make this the top of the hour pause. Don't forget, Gerald Posner is going to join us at 5:30 today. New JFK file revelations. Does Posner agree that they are revelations? You might be surprised by the answer, and we'll get into a couple of other stories with him, including some of his analysis regarding the latest update on the Epstein file. So a lot to cover with our guy, Gerald Posner, big-time investigative reporter slash author as well. That is, as I said, scheduled for 5:30 this evening. But Johnny is coming up.